got y'all back here. I'm Nick Bridge, Nick the Pool Guy. This is my official trial for Naked and Afraid. Now, some things I want to talk about. I do have the ultimate items figured out. Now, there's people out there that's even got their bug out bags ready to go. Got rifles, ammunition, stuff they're adding to. That's good. But now, I'm an instructor with firearms. I'm a veteran of the United States Army. I'm an entrepreneur. Do a whole lot of different things. I'm going to do some demonstrations here. 3 basic rules that the NRA hands down is with guns is always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction, always keep the gun unloaded until it's ready to use, and always keep your finger off the trigger until ready to fire. So some quick little things with a pistol we'll start off with is workspace. So when a person's going to make a draw, we have a lot of people who draw and they're pointing at the ground. And they have no shot. So you think workspace, everything is within your workspace. So even with the draw from a pistol comes from straight to workspace to where one has a shot and goes right in. Back to the draws. Shotgun, pump shotgun, there's a release here. Drop down, slide. Your bullets will be put right here in the throat. Alright. The AR-15. Fires magazines, rounds about like that. Now everybody realistically should have this. For your bug out bags, have an AR-15, there's billions and billions of rounds out there, but the thing is realistically you can't carry all the ammunition you would need to live in the wild indefinitely. You will run out of ammo. That's why this is so pertinent to me with these items to go for this show. A quick demonstration, this rifle's on safe. Now, I'm going to show breaking it down. It's a quick thumb release here, drop it down, take out the bolt assembly and charging handle. Now I won't break this down all the way, but it does come down. Break down further. The part I'm going to show here is that this operates in the bolt assembly. Boom, it goes down, it goes out. Once you've re-put it all back together, you got to make sure that it works. Alright, now the way these seat in, there's just a little notch, it slips just perfect like that. Drop it right on, all together. Now, why is this important? Because once you put a rifle together, you want to know it works, right? Without actually having to fire a round. So, what we'll do is charge. Make sure it's charging. It's charging. It's on safe. I pull the trigger. Safety's working. Now, I'm going to switch the selector to fire. At this point, I'm going to squeeze the trigger, but not let go of the trigger. See there? I'm holding it in still. Now, I've charged it. Now, I'm going to let go and listen for it to click. There's the click and refire. This rifle works. So I'll go back, charge it, and safe. Now sometimes people just hand you off a rifle. You want to make sure there's nothing in it, right? Now I know even in the Army they do inspection arms. I won't do exactly how it is. Nobody chew on me, but from an attention it comes up across to here, boom, just like that. It's not easy to do. A lot of guys it takes and girls it takes them a while to get it, but they all get it. And what I just did was I locked the bolt assembly to the rear. It's left back here, open. I can look down and verify there's no ammunition in the rifle. Now, the switch for that is right here. Now, to release that, there's a couple ways. I won't do all of them. You can actually smack that when there's a magazine in it, full magazine. Smack it, and it'll just load around for you. The other thing you can do is smack the back of the rifle, and it'll also release it to load around for you. But since I'm not going to even put a round in the chamber here for anybody, I'll just pull the charging handle back, just lock it loose, and ride it forward. It's better on my rifle. So now, like I said, let's go primitive. We'll have to get rid of our guns. I want to give a thank you to Rich over at Daring and Unafraid. Thanks for the hat, the shirt. Thanks for the encouragement, more motivation. It's really helped out. I appreciate it. Everybody check them out. Daring and Unafraid on Facebook. You can get shirts, hats. So thanks again, Rich. Alright, so where I'm at right now, I can't get lost. This is where I grew up. But I can still demonstrate following the game trails, getting to a small body of water, which will take you to a larger body of water. Now, I brought my dog. He's not my secret weapon. He's not the secret weapon. But I'm going to demonstrate that because he's an animal, he's going to do exactly what the animals do. So we're not going to go into the jungle with a machete and start making your own trail through the jungle. Always follow what the animals are using. So let's go. I'll show out. There's a few of them. I can see them from here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 game trails right in front of us. So I'll pick whatever I pick, but watch, even Bo will do it faster than the rest of us. So here we go. Let's go. Now I'm gonna take this right here. I like this one better. It's wide open and pretty easy. Now, I got a deer track right in here. I know deer's cruising through here, get some food, getting up into some water. So let's go see what we can find. All right, we don't have time to do the whole demonstration, but this is just for people to know. We know the sun sets in the, rises in the east. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So you can put a stick in the ground, and that's going to create me a shadow there. All right, I can place another stick on there right there. After I give it enough time, that shadow is going to move to another shadow boom to give me my east and west coordinates. Let me know during the day. Now we'll get into later on here about how the stars work. Actually, I wonder if we can just do it with sticks. I'll show it right here, right now. Oh look, here's some bait, y'all. Wait a minute, on Naked and Afraid, they're like, oh, I'm gonna survivalist, I'm gonna do it. Nah, this would be some bait. Come on, y'all. But we'll save that worm when we're out there for bait. Now, hopefully this all shows up for you. Now, using the stars, this is a star, that stick, all right? And what this does, you look for the Big Dipper. You find the Big Dipper, it's gonna create a ladle. Alright, that's the Big Dipper. From, if you see it from the top, it's the hand, it's coming down here, and then the pot holds it, alright? Now what we do is when we look at this at night, we point, boom, at these two right here with the index finger and the middle finger. All I gotta do is find my Big Dipper, point at these two, and it's 5 times over. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the North Star will be right there. It's not the brightest star in the sky, y'all. And if you think it's following the brightest star in the sky is up to people's opinions. So you'd be wandering around forever like lost. So that's how we do it in the Northern Hemisphere with using the stars. All right, so here we are. We made it to some water. Got a small body of water down here. You're gonna see limited game here, especially fish. They're not gonna be. You might see other types of wildlife, but ideally you're gonna follow this water. If you ever lost or whatever, if you're in a challenge like this, you wanna follow the water. Now it's easy here because we got water flow, so we know to go the direction of the water is gonna take us to the bigger body of the water most of the time. So I'll just follow this running water down and it'll take me to a bigger body of water. But if there's no water flowing, you'll want to get down in there and literally try to make, if you can, the determination by which side is going downward. Because the way sediments are moved between, when water moves, it changes the earth. So you're going to want to be actually going downhill, if you can tell. And also if you're looking like rock, and the way certain books will tell you, like look into the walls of how the grooves go into the sides of the walls. But the best way is if you can visually actually tell which way is going downward, that's going to take you to your bigger body of water. So let's go see if we can find something else. Alright, so I've made it down at the confluence of where this creek meets the Great Miami River right here. Now these are some of the greatest places that you're going to find some of your fish, and it's perfect timing for us. The sun's going down and fish are getting hungry. They come into these confluences because the water doesn't move extremely, it barely moves. So if we look, we've already seen about 10-15 fish, but we ran into a great situation. The fish are coming in right now to catch to get themselves something to eat. There's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've also been able to see like some blue heron come through and some ducks and geese. It just goes to show that what you want to do is go to the areas where more of the wildlife is going to be. Where we started at before, you'll see limited wildlife, but as you follow it down to these types of areas, that's where you're going to see your big game, your big fish, all the type of stuff that you really want to be around. So now we're to the parts where we'll have water, and we're going to have lots of selections for eating, you know, with all the plants and everything. So, all right. So how all this started is over at my friend Mike's house. he's got a cable. I say, son, you care if I flip through? He said, yeah. So I came across this show, Naked and Afraid. I watched this show and carried on. I got to my house. So I'm YouTubing. I watched like every episode I could find. I love this show. It's tough. It's the toughest challenge on television. Then I came across a female Marine and an Army officer male, and I wasn't impressed. I'm sorry, I just wasn't impressed. I got upset and rather offended. And the reality is, I thought somebody could do a little bit more in-depth homework. So I got and hit the books. I was reading everything. I mean, I was just anything and everything I already know. Old school things. I was looking. So then I came across the caveman drawing. In this drawing, I thought to myself, because next to this drawing of this caveman, this drawing was as sloppy as the one I have here in my journal. And right next to it was two beautiful horses, and I thought to myself, you know, even back then, you could probably find something better to do with yourself because your drawing's terrible compared to these beautiful artwork of horses. And then it just dawned on me that they had artists back then, but they didn't have an alphabet back then. They used their pictures for stories. And this picture was done by a scholar. And I looked deep and it told me the #1 primitive item in the story. Now the horses I'll get to later, but there's another connection there. So I figured it out right away. I knew what the item was. I'm a pro with this item. It was like 3 in the morning. I went to Meijer, bought what I needed, got home, got to work, realized I needed a better one. So I got online, ordered a better model of what I'm bringing. And then what happened was, this just reminds me of Adam and Eve. This is what I grew up on, is the Christian Bible. And so I went back and I was just reviewing Genesis, the story. And at Genesis 3:24 is when Adam and Eve are being banished from paradise. And it says, after he banished them from the Garden of Eden, the Lord stationed angelic cherubims, a flaming sword, which turned every way, guarding the way of the tree of life. Well then, it goes into 4:1 where it says, Adam knew his wife Eve, and they conceived and bare Cain. But that right there just doesn't make sense. If a man and a woman, we even see on the show Naked and Afraid, if a man and a woman were to get kicked out of paradise and go naked into the jungle, the last thing they need to do is be trying to have a baby. The first thing that Adam and Eve had to do was become ultimate primitive survivalists. Genesis 3:24 describes it, the flaming sword. And I thought about it for a while. I thought heavy about it. And it finally came to me, not only the description of the flame in an artistic way, this flame has been done by artists all over the world, as forever people will draw a flame like that. But what I realized that this can be driven through trees. Once I've, say, a larger tree, once I've worked through, say this, if I wanted to cut through this, I'll start on the edge and drive through it. Now a sword that doesn't have this kind of angle will get stuck in the tree. Won't hardly even be able to pull it out. But with here, and I have it dull all the way up to about here, I can work it. I'll literally be able to work it and cut a straight cut. Once you cut that one, you work over, do the same thing, cut. This is how they would have been driving through to cut down to make wheels, timbers for rafts and whatnot. So when I designed this sword, it has a chisel cut on this side of the sword. It's dull at the handle and it's a bevel blade here, to where this will make just a regular cut with one side. The other side is a chisel cut with the dull end, so it can literally be hammered to work chisel work, or things such as skinning straight up on working wood. And that's how things can be worked on. So the tip of the sword is another bevel blade, both for piercings to not only drive through the tree, but it makes piercings into an animal, which typical most machetes won't offer that. I can get a lot of good straight cuts right through big timber trees, things for making wheels and wheelbarrows, and for things such as a boat and a raft. This one could be demonstrated for simply making a flute or boiling water. But down off the little cliff there, found some of the rocks I needed. But just to show that this does drive right through a piece of wood. Now, you can work this because of all the ways that I've had it made and designed. Now, remember, this is flame cut, so you can work through big things, a tree like this. Bigger ones where the whole sword's hidden. But with this one, I've got a doll here where I can do things like work a piece of wood Now once we've got a fire going, we're going to be taking coals from our fire and place it alongside the inside of this wood. Now you can even use bigger pieces of wood you split and whatnot and make your own things, but ideally it's going to be burning all the way down in here. We can dig it out a little bit so as the coals are going down in there, some things that can happen. There we go. We got some hot coals going on there. If you can find a small tube stick, I won't find one here, but if say this is hollow, you blow on the coals and that helps to heat into it. And you can also, with your blade, dig into it. Now, what we're trying to accomplish here is this will create a cup. And then that'll hold water. We'll take that, hold it over top of the fire, and that's how the primitives are boiling their water. After we boil it though, you know, they give you a bag on the show. But there's ways with sand and charcoal to actually, you know, also purify the water, not just boil it. So there's your demonstrations on that, y'all. Now you're gonna find out what the #1 item is. It's in the caveman drawing. It's biblical. So I'm gonna just get started with, when you first go out, now we're gonna be naked, you're naked for this, so you pray. The first thing you gotta do is start to protect your body. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take right here, and this is called a taut line right here. I just took off my little necklace here. It's called a taut line. Just tighten it up on there. Get on there. Now, say, where did I get that little taut line? Well, that's what you're taking? Well, what I did was I cut it off 1,000 foot of 550 paracord. Let's get started. What I'm doing, this is biblical. Another booby trap, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal in all 50 states. It's called an obstructed clove hitch. It's just a demonstration of how the clove hitches can work. And then there's also a bowline tied on the bottom. This is a simple gaff. Now what I can do is put my foot in here, And you can also, because this is painful on the foot, lightweight, so we can do things like put wood in it for steps. I'm gonna end up making a spiral staircase on my treehouse, but to get started up this way, this is how you do it. So we're gonna need another clove hitch here, another clove hitch up there with gaff. So literally, bam, feel me? I'm coming up off the ground now. All I got to put me another clove right there. I'm walking up this tree. Now, like I said, I have limited area to be working with, so this won't work out perfect, but this is the type of tree that I'm going to be looking for, that I'm going to make a tree house in. Boom, 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 boom. I can run band boards across with clove hitches. A clove hitch goes around the tree, holds with tension pressure, and then I run weaves and a square knot for band boards. Once I've done that, I can get floor joists and studs and all that up there and actually have a lot to work with for a tree house. I just wanted to stop and show that I didn't find a tree like this down by the river, and like I said, I'm working with limited areas of where I'm even allowed to be doing some of this. This isn't close enough to the water. Ideally, I'm going to be a lot closer to a water source, which is where a lot more animals are at. But we'll get the tree house and then the booby traps beneath it. A couple little things with knots. I mean, as soon as you guys saw I'm bringing some rope, I think of 5 or 6 things. I'm for real about to show like 200. That is simple stuff. I was a 25 Lima in the United States Army. That was my MOS 25 Lima. We did a lot of knots. So right here what I used is called a clove hitch. Alright, so you guys think about when pressure is put down on these knots, it changes how much strength the rope has. The 550 cord holds 550 pounds of strength, but once you start making knots, it changes it and it lessens it. So knots have been designed to do things. Now the clove hitch and the half hitch, this clove hitch will hold pressure on a downward of even a flagpole if it's tied right. So I put a simple clove hitch here, and then I put a weave onto this piece and ended it with a square knot. This is how I'm going to perform band boards in a tree house for a floor. This will hold, and you can actually cut, like say this tree was going straight up, like I don't know if you can catch one of these trees, but it's going straight up. This clove hitch, you can put a notch on the back with the sword to help hold, but this clove hitch holds it from coming down the tree. So these boards will be going across in a square or whatever form we really end up making, but these are how you initially get your floor started, and then you can end up running in floor joists and just tie them instead of using nails. So clove hitch, weave, square knot. Alright, so basically I've got this floor tied off with one piece of rope here. It's just a short piece, and it's holding all these pieces back for me to make a floor. So my floor will be up, my walls, rafters, camouflaged. We'll have a bow and arrow, obviously. I'm going to have spear bows, and I'm going to turn this sword into a lance because it pierces no problem. So underneath this floor will be booby trap, which is right here. Let's set it up. Bam. Ideally, when I go to do this, what I'm going to do is use my sword as like a shovel, and I'm going to make this trap a little bit underground. See, and by the way, because I left my doll part there to work it with, so I can just kind of dig me down when I do this, work it down, put bait down in there for whatever I'm hunting. This got this little back stick here. It catches this side, and then this is the piece where it catches here. See that little nub I put on it? Alright, now this comes down in here, and that is how we'll start getting set. Feel me? Alright, now this way there's this other rope here, part of that whole trap set. So what you got, I have them set preset. There's a noose on this side, and then there's one on this side. So what you gotta do, pull you down, get it on up over top of here. Now you do have to make this a couple times and adjust your rope sometimes because it's the wrong size on certain trees or whatnot. So you do gotta practice it with it. Like I said, I already got a knot here. Make it decent enough size. It's a noose. Now I'm gonna turn it into a slip knot by slipping it right through there. Now I'm gonna place it. It's a little big. Actually, leave that here. You can just go ahead and set your trap. Just like that. Set up a little slip knot. Slip knots work super better than like everything else, pretty much. Now I basically just wrapped the trap right over top of that trigger. So now let's find us like an animal's walking through, or maybe like it's head if we've got a trap down in there for it. Hopefully this has enough spring to catch, but we're gonna go and try it now. Boom. Boom. That's how you do it. Alright, America, so the sword, the blade is the number 2 item. So basically, yeah, I'm rigging it. I mean, the blade's the number 2 item. My number 1 item is 1,000 feet of 550 paracord. But if y'all want to see true ultimate survival, that's what you need, is the combo of this. Matter of fact, season 5 is going to change because nobody's going to be stupid enough now to come out without the rope. So then what we're going to do, everybody showed up with a rope and then we're going to make a blade? Nah, everybody's going to be figuring this out now, because this is how you can drive through and do the carpenter work. So I thought at first I was going to ruin the show. But nah, this doesn't ruin the show, this progresses the show. Now for season 5, going to be different. People going to know what to bring, and so you can have partners over here, partners over there. People going to start bartering and trading, which is what happened with mankind. So it's time just now for the show to move on with some progression, and here it is. Alright, now look guys, I've been out here doing this video real quick in just like a half day, you know, bundle footage. I'm gonna be living out there and I won't be bringing all this, but I just wrote it down real quick so I can name off a bunch of stuff that you can be doing. I'm going to make a hammer, sledgehammer, body taut lines, a bow, booby traps, fish line, bow fire, rappel line, holster, sword grip, suture kit, dental floss, tree gaffs, tree house with the band boards, the floor joists, walls, plates, studs, rafters, spiral staircase, a spear bow, lance. I'm going to make a lance with the sword and an extended pin. That's how I make my pierces. I ain't going to wrestle no gator and bear and all that stuff. Backpack, drill press. I'd like to really show the drill press, the primitive drill press, to where you can do burn techniques. And I'm going to make the sword, which turns every way, into a metal drill bit. It's going to be beautiful. A ladder, boat, my raft. I'd like to really present a raft out here. We've run out of some daylight. We're gonna make like a little pontoon, because I'm not interested in hanging my feet over with gators and stuff been like that. And nah. Wheelbarrow, instruments. I like to play the guitar. I'm gonna try to make maybe the Cherokee flute, drum, some sort of type. Gonna get into some mechanical engineering based off of using some hydrostatic energy, whereas water's flowing. I can run a post, a burn tactic, put another piece on top that spins, run a rope to it that could connect to my drill press. That way I set up something I need drill a hole through, let the water operate it for me, go do something else. Like I said, primitive basic mechanical engineering. Ink and paints from mushrooms. I've been studying up on those. Split the water for the wood. We'll make some blues with saps and animal fats for like sinew for the arrow. The bow and arrow. Alright, so you're not going to go find a straight sticks all the time. I mean, look at that, bam, bam, bam. It's not straight. So the arrow is an art. And so the way we'll be doing is, up in our treehouse at night when we're being real quiet and not sleeping at night, sleeping during the day when it's real hot, we'll get these wet, form them to straight, and then over top of a fire you harden them. We'll be getting into I did find, now it's gotten wet and kind of destroyed, but this feather, you split them down the middle and then they get tied onto in the back with sinew, which we can actually create some sinew with this, or maybe some natural sinew we can find and keep it on there with some sap and whatnots. So arrow making, that's what's going to be going down. Oh, and you really only need about 40 pounds of bow strength. Isn't that interesting? Remember I talked about the hunter's bow? I carried my traps, my fishing line. Now, all it is, shit. Now all it is the rope is wrapped onto this stick and tied down in here so I can cast out and be long out. But there's also to this a gourd hook. So, alright, so I've got my fishing line going, right? Now, this is going to be what's called a gourd hook. Now, look these up, you can watch it on YouTube. I'm not even going to go cast out because if you catch a fish on a gourd hook, there's really no catch and release. I mean, this is a catch and keep and you kill and you use. So it simply gets tied on to the rope, alright? Now, the way this needs to be set, I'm going to just set this right on my shoulder to show this. Now, you got the rope coming down. This needs to be set up in line with the rope, going like this. Now, how do you do that? Okay, so it's tied on already. You set it upward. Now you take your worm that you shouldn't eat, you wrap it to hold it in place with this. The reason being is because when it's in the water, it'll be like this, in line with the rope and the worms around it. When the fish takes it, it turns, boom, inside the mouth of the fish. It's called a gourd hook. Y'all go check it out. So that's the way that you catch fish, trap animals. I'm going to be doing transplants. I'm hypoglycemic. I got to eat fruits and berries. We're going to do a lot of gathering. I can't just live off meat. Making some clothes out of some animal skins and other things. Pemmican, we're going to dehydrate her. Tourniquets, those are important. Let's see, the ink. Clay castings, transporting of plants, hunting, gathering, building, a lot of burn techniques, the log cabin, picket fence, and the swimming pool at the end. I've been Nick the Pool Guy long enough. I'm gonna go make me a primitive in-ground swimming pool out there when I'm done. So we're gonna go from prey to predator to claiming an AO. Back to the horses, remember? Alright, it finally came to me just really about 3-4 weeks ago, right? So, the horses. The reason they drew the beautiful horses next to it is because that's what the mastering of the wild is. Once you've caught horses, befriended them and trained them, the hunting changed completely. The lifestyle changed, transportation changed, the way you got the engineering that they were doing, everything changed. So ideally, catch the horses and train them. That's what it meant. That's what it was talking about, was start with this, go for this, and you're living indefinitely in the wild. So that's ideally, I'm gonna be trying to catch a horse. 2 horses. So what now? Give me my marine. I remember that one.